Hello friends, warm welcome to my channel E-Learning with Prashant. Friends, we will take the rapid survey of the Renaissance English poetry. The topic is always useful for the undergraduate and postgraduate students of English literature. We have given the brief account of Elizabethan English poetry. For the proper understanding of the present topic, you should know the details of the Renaissance, its influence. I have presented the glimpses of the Renaissance, humanism and Reformation in my previous videos. You may enjoy them. Those are available on the same channel. If you like the video, subscribe my channel and share it with the students of English literature. Greatest achievements of Geoffrey Chaucer were useless for the history of English poetry as there was no worthy follower of Chaucer. Entire 15th century was the barren century for the poetry. Even the soil was not well prepared to accept the best poetry. It was only after the impact of Renaissance that English poetry flourished in a proper way. The Elizabethan age became the golden age of poetry. Soon it was converted into the nest of the singing birds. Everyone, down from the courtier to the man in the street, tried to compose the poems. It was the fashion and essential qualification of the youngsters to develop the ability to compose a poem. The Renaissance influences were aided and strengthened by the wise policies of Queen Elizabeth. She encouraged the literary. Her wise policies brought about religious and political peace and resulted into the promotion of art and literature. Elizabethan age was the golden age and glorious epoch in the history of England. The English Renaissance is marked for the finest production in English poetry and unsurpassable drama. English poetry flourished on the following levels: the sonnets and sonneteers, songs and lyrics, the epic tradition, and pastoral tradition. The impact of humanism and vernacular languages was clearly seen in the output of poetry. The Greek-Roman literature had tremendous influence on the literary products of the period. Development of poetry during the Elizabethan period is somewhat considerable output. Let us discuss the first one, the sonnets and the sonnet. The sonnet form was the most popular form of the age. Petrarchan sonnet was the major source of inspiration. Sir Thomas Watt and Earl of Surrey were the pioneers of English sonnets. First one is Sir Thomas Watt. Sir Thomas Watt was the political ambassador of the court of King Henry VIII. He visited Italy for the diplomatic mission. He was much influenced by the Italian sonnets and popularity of Petrarch. He brought the sonnet form in English. Second time, the English poetry was kindled by the Italian influence. The first one was Geoffrey Chaucer. Sir Thomas Watt followed the Petrarchan form of sonnet. He followed the traditional convention of love subject as well as the 14 lines divided into octave and sestet. His sonnets were mere or only imitations and copy of Petrarchan sonnets. Many of them are difficult to understand, even irregular in some. However, his sonnets became too much popular during the later sonneteers followed the tradition paved by him. Sir Thomas Watt is better known for his lyrics and songs, which are also modeled on Italian sources. Henry Howard, or the Earl of Surrey, is the second. Surrey was the younger contemporary and disciple of Watt. Though he never visited Italy, the Renaissance spirits introduced to him through his friend Watt. Watt properly influenced. He was the scholar of Greek-Roman literature. Surrey was the far greater remarkable artist and poet than Watt. His learning is seen clearly in a number of translations which he made from Greek and Latin sources. He was the first poet to introduce blank verse in the translation of Aeneid. His sonnets are love sonnets addressed to Geraldine or Lady Elizabeth Fitzgerald. Though he follows the Petrarchan tradition of courtly love, Surrey rejected the Petrarchan model of sonnet and introduced the English form of it. He divided 14 lines into 3 quatrains and a couplet. The same form is known as Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet. Emotional fights of imagination marks the sonnet. He personifies nature in his poems. Love and nature play the important parts of his poetic genius. Total published the collection of the sonnets, songs and lyrics of Surrey, Watt and other poets in Tottel's Miscellany, which was published in 1557. It is a collection of around 300 lyric songs and songs. Tottel's Miscellany marks the beginning of the modern. It became too much popular that there was fashion to compose songs, lyrics, and sonnets. Everyone tried to compose sonnets without perfecting the technical perfection of the form. It was the fashion to write the sonnets. Sonnets were written in sequence, and the theme was developed through the sonnet sequence. They followed Petrarchan theme of imaginary love for the most beautiful lady already married to another man. The poet is about to die. He is on the verge of death and life for positive reply of his mistress, and so on, so on, so on. Sir Philip Sidney is the third important contributor to English sonnet. After Watt and Surrey, the sonnet was neglected for a number of till Sidney revived and popularized it. Sidney wrote 108 sonnets and 11 songs, all put in Astrophil and Stella. These sonnets are addressed to Penelope. Afterwards, she became Lady Rich. Sidney followed the Petrarchan tradition of love theme in them. However, English sonnet received the first direct expression of an intimate, sincere, and personal experiences. Spenser is another sonnet. Sincerity is also the keynote of Spenser's Emerald. He composed 88 sonnets of love and addressed them to Miss Elizabeth Boyle. He followed the English form of sonnet. It expressed the successful love of poetry. The tradition of Petrarchan sonnet, its theme, that is, sonnets are addressed to a married woman. This tradition was first time broken down in his sonnets because Spenser addressed to a virgin lady, Miss Elizabeth Boyle, who afterwards became his wife. In this way, sincerity and true love for a lady was first expressed into his sonnet. Henry Constable wrote a number of love sonnets which are addressed to Dinah. He also follows the same traditional Petrarchan theme of love for a married woman. Samuel Daniel follows Petrarchan tradition of love theme. His Delia is a collection of love sonnets addressed to an imaginary mistress. She is presented as cool, cold, and without passions. Shakespeare was the greatest sonneteer who glorified his sonnets. Shakespeare was the greatest sonneteer who glorified the sonnet form during the Elizabethan age. His 154 sonnets are addressed to Mr. W.H. and a dark lady. The publication of Astrophil and Stella and Amority at once caught the imagination of the sonnet form became too much popular. Everyone tried to compose sonnets without perfection. Here are the main features of Elizabethan sonnet. Sonnets were written in a sequence without individually or singly. Most of them are artificial and imaginary. Petrarchan tradition, phrases and expressions were repeatedly used in them. There is often imitation and translation of foreign models. There is an excess of imagination. Typical Petrarchan theme is also used in them, and most of them lack technical perfection. The second out of Elizabethan poetry is in songs and lyrics. If music is food of love, play on. This is the dialogue passed by Orsino in Shakespeare's great comedy. The Elizabethans craved for music. They wanted to sing the songs of happiest and peaceful moment in a national history. Queen Elizabeth herself was the best musician. Countless books on music were published, of which Thomas Campion's Books of Air was the most popular. They gave both the songs and tunes to Elizabethans. Green, Lodge, Drayton, Campion, and Daniel were some of the popular lyricists of the age. The collections of the songs and lyrics were very popular. Tottel's Miscellany, The Paradise of Dainty Devices, England's Helicon, Passionate Pilgrims, etc. etc. The richer section or rich people in the society had employed the band of musicians and professional singers in their court. The lyrics and songs were the demand of the period. Soon they captured the place in drama. It was the major demand of the audiences. Shakespeare's plays are stuffed with number of memorable songs. The songs in drama were generally light-hearted and in the holiday mood. The songs and lyrics were written on every subject and every mood between heaven and earth. However, the major subjects are love, religion, nature, and general morality. It was the greatest period in which the lyric received a proper form and shape. Form and expression joined together, and the lyrics became the best vehicle or expression of the soul. Songs were sung everywhere. Number of songs were translated from other languages. Sir Philip Sidney wrote a number of songs. They were bold, passionate, and supported with beauty and charm. Spenser used the best songs to decorate and appeal the readers of Shepheard's Calendar. Shakespeare's songs are the most spontaneous and original. His romantic plays are supported with rich songs. As You Like It, The Merchant of Venice, Midsummer Night's Dream, Twelfth Night are the best examples. Lily, Green, Pillay, Nash, Lodge, Daniel were. Then we turn towards epic tradition. Most of the Elizabethan poets were attempting to write down an epic under the influence of classical Greek-Roman poets like Homer, Virgil. Various attempts were already made to translate the classical epics in English. George Chapman's Homer was one of them. The best of long narrative poems were presented by Daniel, Drayton, and Spenser. Samuel Daniel is always compared with Milton, as both of them remained unaffected, unmoved by the contemporary period. Elizabethan age was marked by the romantic spirit. However, Daniel remains classical in his treatment and expression. His poetry is the finest example of the classical art. His most remarkable work is the Civil Wars. Michael Drayton was the patriot who expressed the national pride in his poems. English history was dramatized by Christopher Marlowe and Shakespeare. Drayton presented it in his poetic form. His long narrative poems are the best patriotic works presented by him. If Marlowe presented history of Edward II in his play, Drayton poetized it in The Baron's War. Polybion presents geography of England from one corner to another. All the minute details of English geography are presented in it. Edmund Spenser was the greatest of the Elizabethan poets. Elizabethan age is called the nest of the singing birds, and Edmund Spenser was one of the best singers of the period. He is called as the poet's poet. He is called the poet's poet for his rich poetry, musicality, and natural tone. He is also called as the second father of English poetry. The first is Geoffrey Chaucer. His best epic poetry, The Shepheard's Calendar, the long pastoral poem, and The Faerie Queene. Edmund Spenser worked over this epic for 12 years and left it unfinished. It is one of the most famous romantic epics of the Renaissance period. It is the masterpiece of Edmund Spenser. Friends, I have tried to take the rapid survey of Elizabethan poetry or Renaissance English poetry. For the graduate and undergraduate students, there will be two types of questions as usual. Full question that requires a detailed explanation, like discuss Renaissance and English poetry. For the detailed answer, there will be questions like Renaissance and English poetry, or explain the achievements of Renaissance English poetry, or brief account of Elizabethan poetry. In this answer, we are going to include, as usual, the sonnets and sonneteers, songs and lyrics, and epic tradition, and if possible, pastoral tradition. Questions for short notes, like the sonnets and sonneteers, songs and lyrics, the epic will be, or the pastoral tradition in poetry. I have not discussed the pastoral tradition in poetry of the Elizabethan period in this video about the pastoral trade. Thank you very much. Thank you.